For most of us, rap music is the soundtrack of our lives. But is rap music putting our children on the fast track to hell? That's the question.
Murder and hip-hop music go together like peanut butter and jelly. And we're bathing our kids in hip-hop music. I went to Wikipedia earlier today just to run down the names of all the rappers who have been murdered. All the rappers who have been murdered. And according to Wikipedia, about 77 rappers or something that have been murdered. Close to 80 rappers have been murdered over the last 30, 40 years. I'm just going to rattle off some of the bigger names that have been murdered. Nipsey Hussle, Pop Smoke, XX Tenacion, Notorious B.I.G., Jam Master Jay, Tupac Shakur. I definitely remember this one, Mac Dre, because I think Mac Dre was killed by some Kansas City dudes. He's from the West Coast, and that happened when I was living in Kansas City. King Von, the dude over in Memphis, Young Dolph, Archie Eversole, and I certainly remember this one because this is the first of all of them, Scott LaRock. But according to Wikipedia, this is just according to Wikipedia, two studies in the mid-2010s concluded that murder was the cause of 51.5% of hip-hop musicians' deaths. That's not saying half hip-hop artists died. What it's saying is the hip-hop artists that have died, because hip-hop is a relatively new art form. The hip-hop artists that have died, half of them have died because they were murdered. That's a really high-risk profession. That seems to indicate murder and hip-hop music go together like peanut butter and jelly. And we're bathing our kids in hip-hop music that's about black men killing each other. We're being groomed for death. And the adults are doing and saying nothing about it. So if you want to understand how Mike Hickman gets involved in a disagreement with a bunch of angry opposing coaches and ends up shot and killed, it's because football, basketball, all these sports have locked arms with death music. This, just according to Wikipedia. Of all the other musical genres, you're 32 times more likely to be murdered as a hip-hop artist than any other genre. So don't compare this to rock and roll, hard rock, acid rock, whatever kind of, horror rock, whatever. Don't compare it to that. Marilyn Manson isn't getting murdered. Rappers are. So many rappers have been murdered, we couldn't name them all. It's commonplace. And somehow we think this is healthy, normal, and wise to attach our kids and sports leagues to a music that promotes a culture of death and violence. How did we get here? We dragged children here. We did it. I'm blaming myself. I've loved and supported this music. Now, I've been critical of it, but I've been to the rap concerts. I've met many of the rappers, shook their hands. When I met Dr. Dre, only time in my life I've ever been awestruck. This music is demonic, and it's taking our children straight to hell. And we're co-signing it.